Hey everyone, I'm the Canadian Lad, and today I'm gonna break down the post-credit scene, or should I say the mid-credit scene of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now I have to warn you, this video will contain some extreme spoilers, so if you want to experience it all in the theaters, I'd suggest you click away right now. But if plot leaks or spoiler leaks don't bother you much, then this video will make you extremely emotional. And lads, I'm running a giveaway on my channel. To win, don't forget to download Sandbox using my link in description and pinned comment. The Sandbox is the world's largest Web3 multiplayer game where you can create an avatar and interact with over 300,000 players and over 200 of your favorite brands directly in-game, including Snoop Dogg, Steve Aoki, The Walking Dead, FaZe Clan, and Tony Hawk. Over 100 of you downloaded already for a chance to be featured in my next video. So without wasting any of your time, let's begin. Now before I talk about the mid-credit scene, let me give you a synopsis of the movie, so you better understand the context. But don't worry, I won't spoil the entire film, only the halfway through, because I understand you're here for the post-credit scene breakdown and not the entire film. It opens with a long take of Shuri basically trying to synthesize an artificial recreation of the herb to try and save T'Challa's life. We don't know until later that he was suffering from an unknown illness that he kept from those around him. So the story is basically a direct depiction of what Chadwick Boseman went through in his real life. He had cancer, and only his wife and close ones knew about it. Nobody from Marvel, not even Kevin Feige, knew about this. And it's the same for T'Challa. People around him didn't know that the king was fighting a battle of his own with no return. And I know a lot of people are complaining about this plot. Why wouldn't Wakanda be able to cure cancer? A country so rich with resources. Well, they do address this in the movie. Shuri tries very hard to save T'Challa in the beginning of the film, but her success rate is only 28%. Multiple other scientists at Wakanda actually try to convince Shuri that maybe she should just go be with him for his final moments, but she resists. And when she does come up with something, it's too late, and the king has already left us. And this is basically how the movie starts. So right from the get-go, this is even more tragic than Avengers Endgame, which took only 19 minutes to give us something to cheer for. But this film, my goodness, is tragedy at its core. Then we have a 1-year time jump, and that's when the story begins to move forward. Now in this 1-year period, Shuri has become obsessed with innovating technology. Because the loss of her brother, the fact that she, being the genius that she is, couldn't save T'Challa is igniting the worst possible guilt inside her. While on the other hand, Queen Ramonda is facing international pressure to share vibranium with the rest of the world, which is something she says they will never do because the evils they're capable of. And we see this in the trailers too. This is also demonstrated by France, essentially trying to steal vibranium from a Wakandan research site. Now Lake Bell's character has a ship that has located vibranium deep beneath the ocean, and after it is confirmed, they're attacked by Namor and his people. Namor kills everyone aboard, and it results in everyone in the know believing it was done by Wakandans. So this puts Queen Ramonda in an even worse position in the eyes of the US government. Queen Ramonda then mourns T'Challa by going to a beach, where Ramonda wants to perform a ceremony of burning their funeral attire, thus symbolizing their coming to terms with the passing of T'Challa. But Shuri refuses, saying that if she thinks about her brother for too long, it will be the world that burns, not her clothes. Ramonda tells her when T'Challa died, she walked as far away as she could until she reached water and sat and thought of him. And in that moment, she felt him next to her with his hand on her shoulder. But Shuri again rejects this, saying that's a construct of her mind and T'Challa is truly gone. So Shuri is clearly in denial and is trying her best not to think of T'Challa too much. She's trying to dodge the tragedy as a mean to get over it. Now fast forward to halfway through the film where Shuri gets taken to Talokan, and there she remains as a hostage. Now I won't tell you why or how, because for the post-credit scene, you don't need to know that. So to rescue Shuri, Ramonda finds Nakia, who's running a school in Haiti and has been since the blip, and begs her to find Shuri. Nakia reluctantly agrees and begins searching for the leads to where Talokan is. Now this is as much as I'll tell you about the movie now that you have enough context. The movie ends with Shuri in Haiti, goes to Nakia's home to perform the ceremony of burning her funeral attire. So towards the end of the film, she has now come to terms with T'Challa's death and is now ready to perform the ceremony she once rejected. But she first sits alone on the beach and begins to remember T'Challa and cries. And then she finally burns her clothes. And that's where the movie ends. And that's where the mid-credit scene picks up. It's moments after Shuri burns her clothes, Nakia approaches and reveals her son, who is about 5 years old. Nakia reveals that she had him before the blip, and T'Challa is the father. And Nakia and T'Challa both agreed on their child to be raised away from the pressures of being a king. Now while initially shocked, Shuri has a very emotional response and begins bonding with him, happy to have a family again. Because remember, Queen Ramonda dies in the film while trying to protect architect Riri Williams. The mid-credit scene then ends with this child revealing his Wakanda name is also T'Challa. So Nakia named her son after his father. Now my theory is that he was named in tribute to his father because Nakia thought he was dead due to bleeping, not because of a disease. Shuri then cries but also smiles with Nakia. Let me just say, it's a fairly long scene and there's no edge of oh look, there's a new Black Panther. It's truly treated as an emotional end for the film. Now this was really emotional for me as well because Marvel obviously wants to continue T'Challa's story, but they also don't want to recast Chadwick Boseman, who quite practically made the character popular in mainstream cinema. So Marvel is essentially recasting T'Challa but in a more respectful manner. So in Black Panther 3, Nakia will essentially become her own Queen Ramonda and T'Challa Sr. becoming his own T'Chaka. And Shuri would fulfill the same role as before, but now as Aunt Shuri instead of his sister. It's the best compromise for honoring Chadwick and making T'Challa the one and true Black Panther forever, as he should be. Now if T'Challa's son becomes the new T'Challa or T'Challa Jr. and continues his father's intended arc, it basically makes them the same character, but with respect to Chadwick. And by the time Avengers Secret Wars comes out, T'Challa Jr. will be the adult Black Panther due to time travel and whatnot. So he will essentially continue his father T'Challa's intended arc. And don't worry, this movie doesn't have any bullshit studio agenda or anything. Shuri doesn't become a better fighter overnight than Namor just because she's a Black Panther now. The movie had a very fine balance to it. Shuri does defeat Namor by the end, but she does so using her intelligence and brain, not only physical force. Because Shuri isn't a trained soldier, she's a scientist. But Namor is a true warrior, a king. So they do make the ending land quite nicely, where Namor remains on top physically, but Shuri gets the better of him using her skills. And that's it. This would be my breakdown of the mid-credit scene of Wakanda Forever. Let me know your thoughts on this and what you would have done in a situation like this. But as far as I'm concerned, I really do feel this is one of the best ways to recast T'Challa to continue his arc, while at the same time showing incredible respect for Chadwick. Now please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, grab the subscribe button and turn notifications on. I'm seeing a lot of you are unsubscribing these days, so please subscribe if my videos don't waste your time. I'll see you lads in the next one.
And as you can see, I am not dead!
In my culture, death is not the end. It's more of a stepping off point. You reach out with both hands and Bast and Sekhmet. They lead you into the green veldt where you can run forever.
That sounds very peaceful.
He said so. He said so.